Hello. Hello, everybody. Are you ready? Hello. Please, are you ready? Then we can start because it's also a live stream, so we really need to respect the timing. Welcome, everybody. Welcome on this special event that we organize together with the French Embassy in Belgium. So we are very honored, and it's really a pleasure to organize this together with you. And that's also the reason why we have these even designers of different backgrounds from France and also from Flanders. So we will discuss this evening what will be the future of fashion, but it will be viewed from the young designers who are now really designing and are in the middle of this fashion system, and they are engaged with technology, with sustainability. So it is really very interesting to hear what is their view and their vision on fashion, and of course also what they are doing, what is the meaning of their creations. So I will give the floor now to Mr. Michelon. He's the conseiller culturel de l'ambassade de France en Belgique, et c'est vraiment, on est très enchanté d'organiser cet événement ensemble avec vous. Merci beaucoup.
Merci, Yannick. Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing good tonight. So my name is indeed Thomas Michelon. I'm the head of the cultural services in Brussels, French Embassy. We're so glad to be here, and thank you a lot for your welcoming here in Antwerp. It was so keen for us to work with you. University of Antwerp has reached a potential in terms of fashion and design, which is extraordinary. So we are glad to have been able to work with you. You all have a headphone, so you have to grab your headphones because I will switch into French, because basically it's my language. Et vous expliquer pourquoi nous sommes ici, en fait, à l'invitation donc de l'Université d'Anvers. Alors une ambassade, bien sûr, elle travaille dans plusieurs domaines. Celui que nous avons engagé depuis quelques années, c'est celui de la mode et du design, dans une optique double. La première, c'est de faire en sorte que les étudiants, les professeurs, les académiciens, les académies puissent échanger les uns avec les autres et se connaître. Donc de faire en sorte que les étudiants de chaque école française ou belge puissent se rencontrer. Mais au-delà de ça, notre rôle, c'est également d'accompagner les créateurs sur le sol de la Belgique, et de faire en sorte que leur travail soit reconnu et qu'ils puissent, par la présentation de leur travail, eh bien, tout simplement se faire découvrir des grands acteurs de la mode et du design ici en Belgique. Enfin, et c'est ce qui est tout à fait important, c'est que nous avons délibérément placé ce dialogue franco-belge sur la question de la prospective. On sait ce que c'est que la mode en France, on sait ce que c'est le design en Belgique, mais ça ne suffisait pas. Notre option, c'est vraiment de faire en sorte que dans les prochaines années, avec Margot Berrettoni, qui est là, qui travaille avec moi sur ces sujets-là, on puisse systématiquement avancer sur les thèmes d'avenir. Et c'est dans cet esprit-là que nous allons organiser un peu plus tard dans l'année des journées d'études autour des questions du textile innovant, du textile intelligent, des nouvelles manières d'envisager la mode. Et on souhaitait, avec cette conférence, avec l'invitation, entre autres de France, de Jeanne Vicérial, bien tout simplement ouvrir un peu le débat et montrer que la création en matière de mode, c'est pas uniquement la création de fashion design telle qu'on la connaît jusqu'à présent, mais c'est aussi une manière de repenser le monde, d'hybrider en fait des formes nouvelles et de voir que les frontières que l'on avait à l'esprit ces dernières années ont tendance à s'estomper. Et ça, c'est quelque chose que vous devez voir tous les jours dans vos études et que vous devez voir également dans les différents lieux que vous fréquentez. Mais on souhaite insister en tout cas sur ces aspects-là, la mode et le design dans sa vertu d'avenir et dans la manière dont elle porte un message sur le monde contemporain. Et évidemment, parmi tous ces thèmes, l'un d'entre eux sera important pour nous, c'est celui de la mode éco-responsable. C'est la diminution de l'impact, bien sûr, sur l'environnement à partir du renouvellement des pratiques et des usages et des techniques. Voilà un petit peu l'esprit dans lequel on travaille. Une fois encore, on est très heureux d'accueillir Jeanne depuis la France et c'est à elle bientôt de s'exprimer. Je crois c'est à elle de commencer donc cette séquence. Merci d'être là en tout cas, vendredi soir à 18h, c'est super. Voilà, il fait beau dehors, mais vous êtes là, donc c'est vraiment très bien. Et puis, bien, rendez-vous sur notre site francebelgiqueculture.org francebelgiqueculture.org où vous retrouverez toutes les informations sur nos activités. Une nouvelle fois, merci beaucoup Annick pour votre invitation. C'est un honneur pour nous d'être là. Et merci à Nathalie aussi qui nous a beaucoup aidé. Je ne sais pas où elle est, mais elle doit être là. Voilà, merci beaucoup. Voilà, bonne soirée et à bientôt.
Thank you very much. So yes, may I invite Jeanne Vicérial? Yes, please come in the front. You are the first designer who will explain what you're doing, what are your activities. And indeed, we have been talking about the fashion industry. It is a big, huge industry. But the designers who are graduating, they are in the first place artists. So we are very curious, what is your practice? And you live and work in Paris. You come especially to us now, but we go on Monday to Paris. So maybe we will meet you there again. I will shortly introduce you after your studies as a costume designer and a master's degree in clothing design at the School of Decorative Arts in Paris in 2015. You did a research, a PhD, also on fashion, at the cross point of science, arts, and creation and research. At the same time, you also founded your own studio. It is Clinique Vestimentaire. And you're also a resident at the French Academy in Rome, Villa Medici, in 2019-2020. So, and you exhibited already a few times your creations in Palais de Tokyo in Paris in 2018, in Rome in the Villa Medici and Palais Farnese, and also at Collection Lambert in Avignon. So so we are very curious about your activities and your collection. So please, I'd like to give you the floor.
Keep going in French because it's gonna be more comfortable for me. Bonsoir à tous, je suis ravie d'être ici et d'avoir été invitée pour présenter mes recherches. Peut-être je vais me mettre là. Suite à cette invitation, j'ai repris en fait le titre d'un colloque auquel j'avais participé à Cerisy, qui prenait l'idée de l'indiscipline par rapport à la mode, et c'est en ce sens que je vais aussi un peu essayer de présenter mes recherches. Aussi, je vais vous parler du digital craft, donc de l'artisanat numérique, comme il a été annoncé dans la présentation. Ce rapport entre la technologie, le design et l'art sont des choses en fait assez présentes dans mon travail de par le doctorat que j'ai pu mener, et aussi la question des savoir-faire, du patrimoine et de l'artisanat. Je reviens juste rapidement, mais ça a déjà été un peu annoncé par rapport à mon parcours. Moi, j'ai eu la chance d'avoir une formation donc d'artisan, costumière, réalisatrice, puis de terminer mes études au sein du studio d'Hussein Chalayan à Londres, où j'ai eu quand même un regard sur cet aspect de la technologie. Et ces deux formations, entre le sur-mesure et le ready-to-wear, prêt-à-porter, m'ont en fait conduit à ne jamais vraiment trouver ma place entre un savoir-faire plutôt artisanal, où on allait avoir la présence de l'individu tout du long, et un savoir-faire plutôt local, et l'arrivée aux arts décoratifs de Paris, où j'ai plutôt appris le fashion design, on va dire, plus prêt-à-porter, et donc un travail plus lié à un travail sur des mannequins et une gradation et un rapport peut-être plus industriel. Et en fait, par rapport à ces deux notions, j'ai toujours un peu essayé de les concilier, on va dire, dans mes recherches. Et de la même façon, je n'avais jamais trouvé de formation qui pouvait m'aider à mélanger textile et vêtements. Chose qui pour moi était assez intrinsèque, et j'avais aussi envie d'apprendre la matière autant que la coupe. Et ce que j'ai constaté dans mes recherches, donc, c'est vraiment que dans cette histoire de sur-mesure, on a la présence de l'individu tout du long du processus de création, avec des étapes d'essayage et le moment de la livraison. Alors bien sûr, c'est une technique qui est très longue et qui est du coup assez onéreuse, alors qu'en prêt-à-porter, évidemment, on va avoir une étude de marché, on va travailler en mood board, et il va y avoir l'étape de gradation pour pouvoir délivrer en fait le produit. Ce que j'ai constaté aussi, c'est que, évidemment, vous le savez tous, la mode, c'est la deuxième industrie la plus polluante au monde. Et donc, par rapport à ces questionnements-là, c'est un peu en ce sens que Clinique Vestimentaire aussi est un espace qui est né aussi des premiers constats et des premiers écrits qu'avait pu dire Lié Delcorte, par exemple, par rapport au fait que l'industrie de la mode était tombée malade. Donc, c'était aussi un petit clin d'œil à cette époque-là d'avoir nommé le studio Clinique Vestimentaire. Donc, comme je le dis... Oula. Est-ce que ça... Ok. Et donc, comme je disais, donc, en sur-mesure, il y a la présence de l'individu tout du long du processus, alors qu'en prêt-à-porter, on va avoir une absence du rapport au corps, puisqu'en fait, on est présent qu'au moment de l'achat en boutique ou maintenant principalement sur Internet. Évidemment, le temps et le coût est intéressant, mais on est quand même dans un processus de délocalisation. Et donc, par rapport à ces questions-là, je me suis posé la problématique de comment on pouvait, nous, aujourd'hui, réintégrer cette question du sur-mesure et essayer de proposer quelque chose entre les deux, donc qui serait ce nouveau paradigme qui est celui du prêt-à-mesure que je défends donc dans ma thèse de doctorat. J'ai vraiment l'impression que... ces réflexions-là, elles sont vraiment venues de l'étude du costume, puisque je me suis rendu compte que autrefois on venait composer notre silhouette par le vêtement, avec des aberrations, bien sûr, comme le corset, qui a provoqué énormément de descente d'organes chez la femme, hein, surtout autour de 1900. Mais il y avait quand même ce travail en fait de la silhouette par le vêtement. Et puis, avec l'avènement du prêt-à-porter... Mais c'est bizarre, excusez-moi. Hein. Ok, je vais dans le mauvais sens. Voilà. Et en fait, avec l'avènement du prêt-à-porter, dans mes recherches, je me suis aussi rendu compte et je me suis posé la question de où était passée cette notion du sur-mesure. Et en fait, depuis les années 60, on n'a jamais autant modifié notre corps pour correspondre en fait à ces trois tailles qui sont S, M, L. Et quelque part, en fait, la peau est devenue l'étoffe du 21e siècle. Et il y avait un peu cette idée que le chirurgien était devenu ce couturier 2.0. Et donc, par rapport à ces questions-là, je me suis posé la question en tant que designer, comment on pouvait proposer aujourd'hui une collection qui pouvait réintégrer en fait cette question de l'individu. Et pour moi, c'était important de comprendre le corps humain pour pouvoir aussi envisager le travail vestimentaire. Et donc, j'ai commencé en fait à découvrir tout ce qui était le tissage musculaire humain et les livres d'anatomie. Et de manière assez compulsive, j'ai commencé en fait à voir ce qui se passait si je mettais l'individu au début du processus de création. Et j'ai passé 1 an en fait à retisser des muscles avec des bobines que j'avais récupérées de l'industrie textile parisienne, où en fait je récupérais ces bobines qui étaient jetées. Et je travaillais en fait comme un dessin en 3 dimensions. Donc là, on a un tout début de recherche qui est lié à l'épine dorsale. Et je venais en fait travailler en moulage. Alors effectivement, à cette période-là, j'utilisais la résine pour fixer mes pièces. Et petit à petit, en fait, les nœuds musculaires sont devenues si denses qu'ils se rapprochaient plus en fait d'un travail d'anatomie et d'écorché. Donc petit à petit, ce qui s'est passé, c'est que la question de l'outil s'est posée. Et donc je ne travaillais plus avec des aiguilles classiques. Bien sûr, j'ai emprunté l'aiguille courbe et c'était plus des points de couture, mais des points de suture. Et petit à petit, en fait, ce que j'essaye aussi là dans cette présentation, c'est de parler de cette question de la recherche par la pratique et par le faire, puisque à aucun moment je m'étais posé la question de développer une technique textile ou ces questions-là. C'est vraiment en manipulant en fait ce fil et en commençant à créer en fait ces secondes peaux qui étaient en quelque sorte des sortes de radiographies portatives. 466 km fil, c'est la longueur totale du fil que j'ai utilisé pour cette première collection. Alors il y a des pièces qui sont très denses et des pièces qui sont beaucoup plus légères. C'était vraiment un jeu graphique à cette époque-là. Donc là, c'est une collection que j'ai présentée en 2014-2015. Et là, on a une des dernières pièces qui est cette robe épine dorsale qui a été réalisée en un fil de 150 km de long. Comme je disais, c'était aussi cette idée de montrer à l'extérieur ce qui se passait à l'intérieur, sans aucun regard de rejet ou par rapport à l'anatomie. Et en fait, cette technique, plus j'avançais, plus je me suis rendu compte qu'en fait que j'étais assez proche de la maille, puisque j'utilisais seulement la matière dont j'avais besoin. Mais la différence avec la maille, c'est que je travaille pas en rang, puisqu'en fait, c'est des points qu'on peut envoyer un peu n'importe où dans l'espace. Mais en tout cas, c'est une technique qui permet de faire du zéro chute. Donc, je trouvais ça intéressant. Et de travailler à plat et aussi en volume. Là, on a un exemple de mannequin. J'avais commencé à faire mon propre système de patronage à l'aide de grilles. Et c'est donc cette dernière robe qui a été faite en un fil de 150 km de long. À cette époque, j'utilisais de la résine et le fil que j'avais récupéré était un peu mal manufacturé. Et en fait, au moment du démoulage, il a coulé rouge. Et ça, c'est une pièce que j'ai mis à peu près 4 mois à réaliser à la main. Donc à la fin, je devenais mon propre robot. Et donc, c'est à partir de ce moment-là que la question de l'outil s'est encore posée, puisque effectivement, j'arrivais à rencontrer un individu, proposer quelque chose plus ou moins sur mesure, et avec un temps de travail extrêmement long, donc ça marchait pas par rapport à ma question de réintégrer ce sur-mesure aujourd'hui dans la conception. Mais je me suis posé donc cette question de cette technique qui aujourd'hui porte le nom de tricotissage. Qu'est-ce qui se passe en fait si on réfléchit à l'automatiser ou du moins à la semi-automatiser? Et donc il y avait ce doctorat d'art et de recherche par la pratique art, sciences, création, recherche auquel j'ai postulé et avec qui en fait j'ai pu mettre au point une machine donc de digital craft qui s'appelle la table de tricotissage, qui est une technique qui est aujourd'hui donc déposée. C'est une technique qui est assez simple. Il s'agit d'un robot 3 axes qu'on pourrait comparer à l'impression 3D, sauf que je travaille en déplié UV puisque on le sait, quand on monte en fait avec des matières souples en volume directement, on a besoin de points rigides. Et donc, ce qui est intéressant, malgré tout, je pense, en textile, c'est le soft matters. Et donc, du coup, l'idée, c'était vraiment de remettre à plat pour garder tout le travail en fait de la souplesse et ne pas être dans ces rendus d'impression en 3D et d'avoir quelque chose en fait de souple. Donc là, on a un des tout premiers prototypes de machine qui a été mis en place. Et donc aujourd'hui, j'ai soutenu ma thèse il y a 2 ans et c'est toujours d'actualité de pousser ces recherches par rapport à la machine. Et là, on est en train de terminer une version 4 qui fait 2 mètres par 1,80 m, donc qui permet d'être véritablement une table de coupe en tant que telle. Donc le principe, il est assez simple. On prend les mesures d'un individu, on envoie le patron et on vient en fait dessiner la pièce. Aujourd'hui, on est dans un rapport de 60, c'est-à-dire que cette machine me permet de réaliser en 7 minutes ce que je mettais 7 heures à faire à la main. Donc, on est dans une temporalité assez proche de l'impression 3D. Et donc, artisanat numérique, parce que ça a été toujours un aller-retour de l'étude de la main et de la machine. Et c'est une machine qui travaille en cobotique, donc on est capable de l'arrêter, de redessiner et ne pas être dans ce travail en fait avec la technologie d'automatisation, mais vraiment d'être dans ce processus de création. En fait, c'est une table de création, plus ou moins, c'était un peu ça l'idée. Je vous ai juste mis 2 références donc de designers qui sont dans le digital craft comme Anton Alvarez qui est un designer suédois qui travaille aussi et qui a mis en place sa propre machine. Et je vous invite aussi à regarder le travail d'Émile de Vicher qui a aussi développé une technique de recyclage et de fibres à partir de bouteilles et a développé sa propre machine. Donc voilà, ça c'était vraiment, voilà, je souhaitais vous présenter cette hypothèse et cette démonstration de recherche qui vient donc de ma thèse de doctorat, avec cette idée de pouvoir replacer l'individu dans le processus et d'avoir une production locale et zéro chute. Je sais pas du tout combien de temps il me reste. Voilà, et ben j'arrête ici. Merci.
Merci. Yes, you can leave it there. Oh, yeah, you can take it with you. Yeah. So for the discussion, we have only 10 minutes, unfortunately, but you can take a seat indeed. And yeah, I want to give the floor to the audience, but I have only one question for you. I have a lot, but I will ask you one question. It's so you have your studio, but it's a collaboration, I think, no? Or what are what competences do the other collaborators have, and how did you compose your team?
Oui, bah c'est très juste. Tout ça, c'est vraiment un échange pluridisciplinaire parce que j'ai eu la chance de travailler avec le laboratoire de mécatronique, donc mécanique et électronique de l'école des mines de Paris, en lien avec mon laboratoire de recherche qui est celui de l'ENSAD Lab, donc l'école des arts décoratifs de Paris, et de mon groupe de recherche Soft Matters. Donc, comme c'est un projet qui a duré à peu près 4 ans, je pense qu'on a aujourd'hui à plus de 3 classes d'échanges et de discussions et de partenaires variés. Et c'était vraiment ça qui était assez intéressant, c'est de composer une machine d'une page blanche en fait avec ces étudiants de l'école des mines.
Intéressant. Et is it what would be the end result? Is it really the intention also to really have the IP on it, and that you are going to use it and to collaborate with the industry? Because you said, it's also an opportunity to produce locally, and so what is your view on your own future and the future of the studio?
Alors oui, la question du développement du projet, il est toujours en route parce que la recherche, c'est quelque chose d'assez long, et c'est ça qui était génial en venant de la mode. C'était vraiment cette idée de temps qui n'est pas celui des collections, c'est jamais beau ou raté ou réussi. Ça, c'est quelque chose qui était intéressant dans la temporalité. Et puis, de développer ce lien aussi avec les industriels, puisque là, en fait, on voit quelque chose qui est très dans un design qui est celui qui me plaît, avec des grands lâchers, etc. Mais le tricotissage permet aussi de travailler les mailles beaucoup plus serrées. Et donc, d'un point de vue de changement de fil ou d'un point de vue sportif, c'est des choses qui sont intéressantes. Et ça, c'est quelque chose qui m'intéresse en développement de transition, par exemple, avec des marques, avec des industriels, même si, du coup, l'avenir du studio, il est très pluridisciplinaire aussi, puisque j'ai plutôt une activité de chercheuse, mais aussi de travailler plus de sculpture, etc. C'est comme un sorte de laboratoire où, en fait, de travailler à la main permet aussi de nourrir cette recherche-là.
Merci, oui. Are there any questions from the audience about the project or... Yes, please.
And I would love to elaborate on the question Mrs. Schramme just asked you. If you could do anything you want with this, where would you see your own work going to? Is it really like that the industry is using what you have invented, the machinery and this new way of thinking and working? Or do you see your lab becoming a lab that also produces these unique garments? Like, where do you see that? I'm very curious to know more about it.
Merci pour la question. C'est une bonne question parce que il y a plusieurs possibilités. L'idée, c'est aussi de pouvoir travailler avec les étudiants, de peut-être avoir des licences, de travailler à des transitions, donc avec des marques, mais aussi bien sûr de le faire aussi au studio. Mais par contre, il n'y a pas la vocation de proposer un nouveau modèle, puisque je pense qu'aujourd'hui, ce qu'on connaît avec la dramatique situation en fait du milieu de la mode par rapport à l'environnement, à mon sens, ne fonctionnera que par des mini-initiatives et projets. Donc la table de tricotissage est une proposition, comme d'autres studios qui travaillent le zéro chute, et je pense que par rapport à un modèle qu'on connaît aujourd'hui, qui est très compliqué, parce que si on délocalise, si on ferme ses usines, etc., c'est des choses aussi qui ne fonctionnent pas. Et je pense que voilà, l'initiation de la recherche par la mode, etc., sont des initiatives qui vont en groupe, en fait, avec plusieurs designers. Donc, par exemple, avec ce projet-là, mais je sais qu'il y a un étudiant aussi dans mon groupe de recherche qui va plutôt réhabiliter les parcs de machines pour leur permettre de produire de manière plus consciente, en fait, des chutes. Et je pense que c'est plus dans ce sens-là que je vois l'évolution, en tout cas, de ces technologies qui sont toutes, en fait, en train de naître actuellement.
Okay. Any other question? Yeah. Yeah. No. I don't see any other question. Maybe, or you maybe? Perhaps no. No. Maybe a last question also. What is for you the artistic challenge of the project? It's a collaboration with, it's technologically driven, but what is for you the artistic challenge in your project?
I keep going to use machine in my work and mix with dance. Dans la question en fait du rapport aussi à où on peut positionner la mode aujourd'hui. Et en fait, à la suite de ma résidence à l'Académie de France à Rome, j'ai commencé à habiller les sculptures. Et je me suis posé la question de pourquoi je pourrais pas, moi, faire de la sculpture ou de la performance pour poser ces questions-là et ne pas rester non plus que dans un environnement de fashion design ou de chercheuse, mais de parler, en fait, de ces questions-là dans un point de vue peut-être plus de la sculpture ou de l'ordre de l'exposition. Et de présenter, là j'ai fait une exposition récemment qui était un défilé statique où finalement le seul véritable corps physique et particulier était celui du spectateur qui venait défiler au milieu de ces sculptures textiles. Et voilà, pour moi c'est aussi de refaire du craft, de le présenter en tant que pièce, mais aussi de travailler ces pièces-là avec différents robots et de continuer de collaborer avec les ingénieurs, mais aussi des danseurs et de questionner la mode aussi dans d'autres environnements.
Interesting. Yeah, and the title of this event is The Future of Fashion. So what is your personal opinion about the future? It's a difficult question, I know. But from your personal point of view, then where are we going to?
C'est une question très compliquée. C'est difficile de dire quoi que ce soit. Je peux pas avoir de projection. Je pense qu'en tout cas, il y a une curiosité. Et j'ai l'impression aujourd'hui que les champs s'ouvrent un peu, en tout cas, sont beaucoup plus poreux entre l'ingénierie, le design, l'art, la façon dont on a envie que ça change. Donc peut-être que ça sera plein d'initiatives, comme je le disais, de manière plus locale et qui... Peut-être c'est une option, mais...
Oui. I'm aware that it's a difficult question, but how do you see the position of the creative, of the artist within this disruptive world and where is a lot of going on? Because you're more like an artist researcher, but as a creator you can go different directions. So what is for you the position of the creative in the future?
Je pense que intrinsèquement, la question, par exemple, de la chute du corps de la femme ou de l'homme ou de peu importe en fait de ces questions de taille doit être en fait ne doit même plus se poser et doit être créativement en fait une source d'inspiration. Et ça, c'est quelque chose que j'espère vraiment pour le futur, que ça soit des choses qui fonctionnent comme ça. Après. Face à la construction actuelle, dans la façon dont on produit les vêtements, en tout cas, il va falloir que ça aille assez vite la prise de conscience, et ça ne sera pas que par les créatifs et les artistes.
Merci beaucoup. Et warm applause, please, for Jeanne. I hope you can stay a little bit longer, but maybe you have to go back to Paris already this evening, I heard. So a nice trip back, okay, and a safe trip back. Okay, let's go to the next designer, Olivier D'hauwe. Actually, we know Olivier also from last year because he won the Summer School Award. So he won our award and participated to the Summer School. He followed a different route. He's a designer based in the Netherlands, but also active in Belgium. He graduated fashion technology in Ghent, 2017, to start working at the Belgian women's brand right after. So working this way up to the design department while combining it with also graduating at the Academy of St. Nicholas. They have a famous also education program. We call it deeltijds kunstonderwijs. And there are a lot of creatives also. Pascal is coming from there. She won the award this year. So today you are working as one of the designers at Xandres. And while thinking about what you will like to contribute to the industry by doing collaborations for conceptual garments. So please, Olivier, the floor is yours. You can tell your story.
Okay, yeah. Hello. I'm gonna try to do it in English. If somebody doesn't understand me, please tell me so I can try to make myself more clear. First of all, thank you, Annick, but she kind of told a lot of my information already. So I hope it will still be a little bit interesting. What I'm going to tell is quite personal. I'm just like she told, I'm just an individual in fashion. For the moment, I have kind of a double life, I always say to my friends and my family. So I work in fashion in a way, the very commercial fashion that we know today. And next to that, I tried to educate myself further to be more able to, bring concepts, make garments that have a little bit more meaning than the garments that we all wear. My name is Olivier D'hauwe. Who am I? Olivier D'hauwe. No. How it all started, when I was 18, instead of following my father's dreams to be his how do you say it? My father is a construction worker and he would love his only son to be in the business, in the family business. But guess what? That didn't happen because Olivier chose to study Bachelor in Fashion Technology. I don't know if somebody knows fashion technology, maybe they do. It's an education in Ghent where you learn practically all the technical stuff behind a garment. So you are being taught like from A to Z. You can think about you need to know how to make patterns. Then you need to know how to change these patterns in CAD/CAM so you can use them to send to your producers. You need to learn how to speak to your producers. And then, of course, you get a lot of stuff that you never really need, like statistics and all that stuff. But it was very technical. And when I stopped there, when I graduated there, I really felt like it wasn't enough for me because I really wanted to, learn the whole conceptual thinking, how to make a collection, how to tell a story with clothing. But of course, as a little man of 21, I didn't had a lot of budget, so I needed a job. So what did I do? I applied at Xandres. Does anyone know the brand Xandres? Yes. How would you describe it? Ooh, no. Okay, we get later into that. Okay. So I started there from the bottom. So yeah, I needed a little bit of money to be able to go and study further. So I started working there and then also applied for the education in Sask. So I did that for 5 years. I combined it with working at Xandres. Then I was still just designer assistant. But at the end of, I think now past 2 years, I can call myself one of the design team of Xandres. Yeah, it's very nice to see like the double life thing that I try to do. So this is my creative life and this is my work life, because now I am also from this year a guest lecturer at my previous education, this is at Sask. There I give to the students pattern and finishing of the garments. So now, because I'm just, newly graduated and I'm still kind of looking for what I want to do with my ideas, what I want to do on a conceptual basis. So I'm just going to give you a little look into my graduate collection. Like I said, it was a very personal. It is a very personal presentation. So my collection really looked back into my youth. So like I already said, my father is a construction worker, really had high hopes for me, didn't work out, made me have a different vision of masculinity, me trying to revision my vision of masculinity by looking at other cultures like the natives of New Orleans and just trying to shape for myself a man's collection, but with other touches that aren't defined manly in my father's eyes. That here you can see my portfolio. It's just really quick. Then you can see the silhouette. So I try to combine like shapes that are not extremely masculine with materials that are rather feminine, and still try to portray a really manly vibe. So you can see a lot of oversized, the puffer jacket, but then finished with feathers on top. It's just giving you a little look of the collection. Some details, So here also like the manly kind of fits, but then finished with paillettes, feathers. Now the feathers is also because I took a look at the natives at New Orleans, and there, I think you guys know it. It's like Mardi Gras, so it's once in a year. It's like Carnival. But there, the manliest man of the village is dressed up with the most feathers and the brightest colors. And the bigger you are in your costume, the manlier you are. So that maybe is the link to all the feathers. So yeah, that is what I did not last year, already 1.5 years ago. But now, of course, what's next? I'm graduated. I was nominated for most promising graduate of the year. Very nice. Didn't win though. But Lily did, and she was an amazing artist as well. And then, of course, my other life just continued. So I am now still working at Xandres. It is a woman's brand, a ladies' brand in Belgium. It is Belgium-based, and it is. I try to put it in some words. So it's a Belgian brand. It is really focusing on quality, timelessness, effortless, and inclusivity. And of course, what is really important to me is it has high aims for sustainability. Because I think you all, or a big part of you, already saw Jasmine Wijnands this week. I think she talked you through what sustainability means and what she is doing at Xanders for the moment. I think, yeah, working in a commercial brand, it is very important that this is a really important topic, because we all know fashion is very polluting and it needs to change, or there need to be, yeah, it needs to change. Well, I think that's clear. But just to give you a little insight, this is the kind of clothes Xanders makes. So it's very feminine, it's very lady. It's just a decent lady brand from Belgium. So like you see, and of course, so I'm part of this is the design team, sorry. And I am also the person that is, from the designers, is into sustainability. So I am the one that makes sure that everybody is on the same level. The aims are high. We just started, kind of, you know, it is not like a little startup that can start from a kind of idea and then work his way to it. This is kind of a company that existed for almost over 50 years now. It has its structures. Not all of them are good, not at all, but, you know, it needs to start somewhere. And that is what we try to do, step by step. Yeah, by, of course, like sourcing, that starts at the design department. Like, sourcing is very important, that you know what you are sourcing, that you know, yeah, you have the responsibility, because once it's sourced, it isn't going into the flow, and then it gets more difficult. But that's just a little thing we focus on. What we always focus on as well is that we focus on quality. So the make of the clothing needs to be decent, that you can wear it for years and years. Yeah, that is one of the most important. Now, yeah, that was kind of a little presentation of what I am and what I'm doing. The only thing I'm going to say is plans. I don't have any yet. I'm really thinking about it, but when I see like a presentation like this one before, I feel like it's not enough to just make beautiful stuff today. It needs to be more. It needs to be, I still love to make clothing, garments that tell a story, but I think it just isn't enough anymore to just make beautiful stuff. So that's why I'm still like working out and what I want to do, and just, you know, thinking about it. In the meanwhile, it's nice that, you know, stylists and other artists want to collaborate, and then they make beautiful stuff with your stuff that you make. That is still nice. But for the future, I have now, because I have two lives, I can now pay my own life with my other life. So I have now a little studio in my hometown where I can think about the future and try to make beautiful stuff, but much more. Okay, that was it.
Take a seat.
Thank you.
And thank you for your presentation. By the way, thank you also that we were allowed to use an image of you for the promotion of our summer school.
No
Probably some of you recognized it. Actually, what you were telling is, I think, very recognizable for a lot of creatives. So you have, at one hand, really this creative freedom, the pleasure of designing, and at the other hand, you have the reality, the economic reality, so that you are obliged to combine another job with your creative part. You said it. I have almost a double life, but a lot of creatives even don't have another job in fashion. So in a way, it's also lucky that you can be a designer also for a fashion brand. But what I was, you answered a bit the question already at the end that you don't know yet, but then what you finally want to do. But what is your dream on the longer term? Because and now you're combining different jobs. But what would be your dream on the longer term?
Okay. A lot of people ask me that since I graduated, and I find it a really hard question to answer just because I find it very confronting if it doesn't work out, dreams. But if I, and why is that? Maybe it's because I have that double life. When I studied or started studying fashion, I had this kind of, I think, dream a lot of designers have. Like you say, okay, I want to do a design, I want to make beautiful stuff, I want to think about beautiful concepts and tell a story, and then go to anywhere and be working in big brands and living the life. But then I started working also at Xandres, and then kind of the reality hits. It is fashion, but it is another fashion that you dreamt about. And then when I see myself as a designer, an independent designer, people ask me like, do you want to start a brand? Do you want to do something with it, like really make stuff, produce it, and then sell it? But then I think that is not really what I want, because then it becomes something very economical, like you say, then you have to go to producers, you have to pay a lot of money in forehand, you have to then do a next collection. It becomes something economical, and nothing bad with that, but it's just something that I'm not into. What I would love to do is then more on a collaboration base, that I would be really full-time independent designer, and that I could go with people that are really busy with innovation and that have so much more knowledge than I have right now, and I could learn like that and then create beautiful things together. That would be amazing, but we will see.
Yes, it is not easy, of course, to find your way. But I'm intrigued by the fact that you started with fashion technology. And then you went to the creative part. So, we heard already the story of Jeanne. She was already, when she was studying, into this technology part. So I was wondering, is it still for you also a dimension of your creative part to use technology? How do you see that?
For me, most of the part was like, I wanted to do fashion, but I was too scared to do the academy or to even try to apply. So I thought, also because I didn't sew, I couldn't draw patterns. I was just somebody who liked drawing and drawing silhouettes, and that's all. So I thought that fashion technology would give me a good base. It also gave me a very good base. It taught me how to make patterns, the basics, of course. It taught me how the whole system of a garment works, finishing, everything behind it. It also gave me just a good view on how it works. And so it was very, very, very useful for me that I already had the Bachelor of Fashion Technology when I started at Cindy class. It gave me a lot of baggage.
Yes. Okay. But you see it more like of basis, but more instrumental
like
than And when we saw your collection for your graduation, it was focused on this masculinity and the gender issue. That is also a very important issue nowadays in fashion. Is that something that you want to further explore, or was that just for your graduation that you did that, or choose that topic?
the topic itself, it was because of the personal situation that I really was like, okay, this is something that I have a lot of information about that, or a lot of memories, or a lot of issues. But I really like it. I know it's a lot of gender issues are happening in fashion, and a lot of people are doing it. But I really like it in a way. I don't want genderless. Like this collection, it didn't need to be genderless for me, but just masculine in a different way, or just try to redefine the genders. And that's something I find interesting, and something I really would like to work further on, or take with me to the future. Yeah.
Okay. I look at the audience. Are there any questions? Yes, please.
Yeah. 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 I heard it, or yeah, I already heard it. Oh,
Can you
okay.
repeat the question, because otherwise the people who are following online don't
sorry for the people
know.
online then. I just wanted to ask, because your first collection is so masculine and it's mainly menswear, then now you have to work for a women's wear brand. Like, is it hard for you?
Good question.
Yeah, really. I must say, when I started at Xandres, I was really into the female collections, like women's wear. But I think it was in my third year that I decided, like, okay, now it's time to get out of your comfort zone. And then I started doing men. And I must say, is it challenging? Sometimes. But for me, it is rather nice to keep, it's really bad, keep my personal life apart from my professional life. So I really know when I'm thinking about women's wear, I really think about really Xandres and more commercial, and you know, making clothes for the brand. And when I go personal, I really want to experiment, and I want to go further. And I know that in menswear, for me personally, is a lot to be done, or can a lot be changed, or I think I find it more interesting. So yeah, it's not that challenging, but it is fun.
Yes. Yeah. So you are used to have
Yeah, it's
this
bad.
kind of. No, it's not bad. I think it's also reality indeed.
Yeah.
And if you can create this space for yourself, creative space. But of course, for you, I hope that sooner or later it will coincide what you're doing with who you are. And but of course, we fully understand that you are doing both now. So unfortunately, we have to already to finish the conversation. But thank you for being honest and to share with us your story, your experiences, and life is about growing. And, so there is still a lot of time to
grow,
develop further your own creativity.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Finally, we have Flora Miranda. Please, Flora, welcome. And thank you for joining us and share your story with the audience. So, I don't want to do the same mistake as I did with Olivier. Are you going to present yourself, or do I introduce you?
Well, I don't know.
Maybe I can say that
You can say one word and then I can.
One word, yeah. You graduated here in Antwerp at the Royal Academy of Fine Arts, and the rest she will tell herself.
Let's say, where do I have to point at the beaver? Okay. Hello. Hello, everybody. It's great to be here today. Thank you for inviting me. I'm Flora Miranda. I'm Originally, I'm from Austria, and I came to Belgium when I was 18, just when I graduated from high school because of the Fashion Academy. And I did the entrance exam, and 4 days later the school started, so I came with 2 suitcases and I stayed here. Except 2 months after I graduated in 2014, I went to Amsterdam, where I had a job at Iris van Herpen. And then I immediately came back because I could not help, but I had to work on my own ideas. And I always stayed up after work in Amsterdam until 3 in the morning, preparing exhibitions and creating my own work. Still, it was not enough for me. So I started my own brand in 2016. Let's see. Oh, okay. My work has, since I studied, it has always been about the digital identity of us, something that started, I think, with my generation. Most of you are a little bit younger even, and in my studies, I most of my topics were already about like what are we doing online and what kind of aesthetics are resulting from this, what kind of behavior. My graduation collection was a very technological topic where I worked around quantum physics, and I imagined what if we can just travel with our atoms immediately, like we send an email every day. I was thinking it's so weird, I'm sending emails all the time and I want to be as fast as these messages I'm sending. And I imagined, how does our body look like if that ever will be true? So I thought like, our body will be scanned and we are made of single particles that are like disappearing and forming again. And after I graduated, I started my brand in 2016 as an haute couture brand that I presented in Paris. And at the same time, I also started to develop IT pieces, which is fashion that is designed based on user data. So like my graduate collection inspired me to think, actually teleportation, it already happens in a way because we spread our data everywhere and we could just take this data and materialize it in a different location. And like this, we are already teleporting ourselves. And so I was thinking, okay, I will design a design system where if you log in with your social media, it analyzes what you're posting all the time, and based on that, it generates garments. So here you see the first IT piece that I created, which was that was in 2017. So Facebook was the social media that I analyzed based on a machine learning model that I trained on song lyrics, and the computer would look at your profile and analyze the sentiment of your text, and based on that give you back lyrics that represent you at this moment. So it's like a design vision that is basically fluid fashion, because it's something, your data changes all the time, you're constantly active, and so also the designs that are generated for you will be different if you look at it 1 week later, because you will have different data online. In my couture work, the artistic thought is the center of the stage. So for me, there, innovation means, first of all, the possibility to experiment, to not have commercial pressure, but to really, open the mind for anything. I think this is like the base of innovation anyways. But of course, at the same time, I have still this need to explore new technologies, and one collection that I created in 2018 is Ready to Dye. Let's see. So there the inspiration was that Björk, the singer, she asked me for lending a dress for a concert in Los Angeles, which was really great. But the only problem is she asked exactly this specific dress that was sold to a museum. And the museum didn't give it to her because it was theirs and part of the museum collection. If something is in a fashion museum, it's not allowed to wear it ever again. And so I thought, like, well, I will go and 3D scan my dress, and I will do the same thing with different historical dresses in different fashion museums and recreate them. So this is like a thought of if we digitize the collections that we have, and Europe is especially a place in the world where we love to conserve the history, then we can actually bring to life what we are conserving again, and we can create more from that, and not make it so stuck in the vitrine. The techniques that I used was especially not 3D printing. So I could, of course, just 3D scan a dress and then 3D print it. But for me, it was important to develop alternative crafted techniques that are taking out digital files of the computer into 3D. Yeah, you see here 2 of the dresses. The one on the left was my original dress, but then interpreted. Then this collection, I don't know how much time I have. I think I'm gonna make it short now.
You're still
a little? Okay. This collection was a collaboration with an American performance artist, Signe Pierce. She is, her work is about, like, she basically, her Instagram profile is her art, where she presents herself as a over-sexualized woman, playing with the power of gender and the way we are categorizing these kind of like symbols and the attention economy. And here we collaborated that she played on my fashion show like a bot, like a machine that would explain. She gave a keynote to the fashion audience about how machine learning works for fashion. And each dress in the collection was basically designed for each of the keynote slides, showing different steps in the machine learning process. And she was wearing this dress that constantly made selfies of her, and that was live projected on a building in Paris at the same time. And it's like about that. When you train a machine, then you do that based on data input, and in the machine learning world, if you think of fashion, it's very male dominated, as we know. So it's the question, like, what is actually the beauty image that we're putting into our machines? What kind of females are we creating? What is beautiful? What is attractive? And a question around diversity within our computers. So yeah, I will not play the video, just a little inspiration. And the latest project that I just presented 1 month ago is for a ballet company in Germany, where I took the frequency of the music in the piece, and the dancers were wearing each 1 minute of the music, and we produced scarves for the audience of the theater, where they also could buy the frequency of this ballet piece. So you see, this is a little bit showing like the process of working, where first I look at the scientific research, like how does frequency actually work. And then, as you cannot see it very well, you have like the data input of the frequency, and then I create a visual system that translates this data, and I in that I also take into account what is the aesthetics of the of the ballet in general. So there was like this huge curtain floating in wind on stage. So I translated it also into the design, and it's also this whole concept that what ballet dancers are wearing on stage is something we often also like to take home, but it always stays a costume, and in this case you can take it home with you. Yes, this is the final slide, showing a little bit what I'm in general wanting to go towards. So I like to get much more into this whole programming and building AIs and working with different digital tools. And this is like a constant learning, because we all know the world is changing so fast. So it's hard to keep up. And yes, that's for the questions.
Thank you very much. But if the movie is not that long, we can have a look, because
I didn't put it in.
Okay. Okay. No.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Warm applause. Yeah. Fascinating. Really fascinating what you're doing. So you choose to continue as an artist and to explore and do research and to do artistic projects in a way. But you say that your pieces are very data-driven. But at the other hand, I saw also some images that it's almost like the new haute couture. It's almost like kind of craftsmanship. So how is that then related to these data-driven creations? Yeah, maybe it's a stupid question, but it's just by listening to you that, I was wondering how you see that.
Yeah, of course, there's a lot of paradoxes. But anyways, like data-driven doesn't mean it's not the opposite of craft. I think even the digital tools often allow us to be even more detailed, because sometimes they speed up processes, so we have time to go even more in detail, and we know, the ornamental aesthetics of 3D printing, for example, brought that with themselves. That at once you can imitate nature like that, even though it's synthetic. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Indeed. We talked this week, because we have a summer school also on fashion management, a lot about digital fashion. And so you're working digital, but also you realize it's physical as well. Would that be also for you a kind of challenge for the future to express your creativity purely in digital, in the metaverse, in digital fashion? Or is that still important to have the physical dress or costume?
Yeah, of course, that's something that for a month or something, I really thought about, maybe even struggled with, like, I'm so pro-digital, and in the end, what am I doing? So crafty. And to go purely into the digital, who knows, I'm open to it, but I have a lot of knowledge built up since a long time on how to work with textile. Also, like, I have a background in my teenage years with painting that plays into this, like, and I also think I have a skill for it. It's a natural thing I bring with me, a kind of intelligence in, feeling materials. So I don't know, I think it would maybe be ignoring that skill, almost. And I think it's still needed, of course. I mean, I think it's still a long time that we can imagine not to wear anything. So it doesn't mean that fashion in the material form will not exist anymore. But for sure, the metaverse will be there.
I think we came also to that conclusion. Yes, I look at the audience. Are there any questions for Flora? Yeah, Lee?
How did you get into the
all the data, kind of thing? Because when you started with it, it was really not that accurate or hype or
Yeah, and actually, it's not something that you teach at the academy in Antwerp. I think, yeah.
No, indeed, it's. I mean, what I learned, I have to appreciate that at the academy we really learned the storytelling part, and I think that is also an added value to this like technology world, because I think it gives a lot of warmth and emotion that we all need, especially when we create. Yeah, I mean, designers, artists. But indeed, the actual tech knowledge, I'm still building it, and. I mean, the storytelling opened doors because, like, for example, my master collection, it was looking very high tech, and people thought that like all these lines were laser cut, but no, it was all cut by hand. It was painted by hand. It was very, very crafty. It's just like the visual impression you give that makes it almost, and it's still now, like sometimes I make very crafty dresses and people think it lights up, but it's just because of the color contrast that you can make believe something. And but like because of these aesthetics, I was invited like for exhibitions with artists who are actually working with technology for real, and like that I got to know people. Also, I actively applied, for example, to Iris van Herpen. To see a little bit how do other people work with technology, what is that even, you know? Or I went to Ars Electronica to meet some people, so I actively looked for contacts from whom I could learn, and or collaborators where together you create work, and then with the exchange, you learn from each other actually, yeah.
Can I ask another question? Mm-hmm. Since you're now involved in the whole data and technical part, of course you know about all the NFT kind of things that are happening right now. Is that something you would go into maybe just to generate like a source of money to then be more creative on the other side? Or is that something you want to stay away from?
Yeah, well, I cannot help it, but I have to do it. I'm getting asked a lot for these kind of things, and anyways, I have the opinion. I mean, in general, I like to keep an open mind. You know, I'm an experimental person, and I like to at least try things. In the beginning, I mean, from the base up, I don't really believe in the idea of like. NFTs and blockchain, because I think there's a lot of confusing ways it's sold. Things like, I don't know, like when you're not informed and you hear that something is decentralized, you think that everyone is equal and it's a peaceful world. But decentralized doesn't mean that there's not a controlling person, you know? So I think it's more like I like to stay critical towards it, but I'm not against it, because I think anyways, like economy is also like that, you know? You have to be living in this world, and the world is moving towards the digital, and I'm sure of that, you know? So, yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm already working on some projects. I'm just asked for that, so that's just how it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Other questions? No? Yes, there is another one.
Hi, yeah, first of all, very interesting, cool stuff that you do.
Thank you, thank you.
For the dress that you showed it, the antique dress, did you made it on size or was it generalized?
Which one?
The dress that you showed it, the antique dress that you recreated.
The antique one. Those were actually, what size were they actually made for? Good question. I didn't really pay attention to that. You mean like if it was made for a specific person?
Yeah.
No, I think we took like it's a long time ago. I think we took like the basic show model measurements for that. Yeah, I think so. because we had it in the computer, and then what I did, I built like a base for the dress in real on which we could create the material, and I think we based it off like show measurements. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Really cool stuff.
Thank you.
Okay, yes, maybe a final question. So you choose to go for the artistic pathway in integrating technology as an artistic practice. But what do you think nowadays as an artist? Is it difficult to survive, or do you think there are a lot of opportunities? Because everything is changing so fast. And what is your opinion about that?
I mean, I think, but of course, it depends always where you come from. But like for me, surviving is not so difficult. I think that in the end, for survival, it depends on your standards of living, but you can survive. That you can, I think, yeah, you can survive. And in general, I mean, what is more like a topic of my dedication is you know, I think it's important that women are informed about technology. I informed myself a lot about these kind of topics during the pandemic also. I followed like, you know, female leadership courses online and these kind of things where you learn about like all these kind of gender imbalances and the future of work, and like the well-paying jobs will be the ones that are technology related. So if you think of jobs that are more traditional, those are jobs that are less paid, and I think this is something to take into account. That and if I look at and in that, if we talk about the gender, of course we all know that the technology field is from young up in the education, it is still something rather male dominated, even though I'm sure it is changing. And I noticed myself, I was in a high school with, so between 14 and 18, I was in a high school with a very artistic focus. And we learned Photoshop and InDesign. And I did also an internship when I was 16, where I learned myself Illustrator. And now these are not new programs anymore. But for example, for the Fashion Academy, that I knew these programs, it was such a huge advantage. Nobody knew how to work with this, and I could create so much faster all my digital artworks. And even today, I'm using these programs every day. It's just like this. And if I compare how hard it is for me, for example, now to learn programming or to learn a new program, like a 3D program, I'm thinking like, wow, what a good investment I did as a teenager to, in my free time, you know, I did like perfume advertisements with my own face in Photoshop, placing lighting and these kind of things. And that's really, you know, I think having this sort of knowledge, and today, of course, it's not like these kind of programs anymore, it's different ones. Yeah.
Yes. So digital skills, it's also about equality and giving equal opportunities
yes,
to
yes.
also
exactly
to women. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have to finish this,
Thank you.
the conversation here, but lucky that three designers stay with us, because now we like to invite you also on behalf of Mr. Michelon to a reception. It's offered by you, so thank you very much. And it's always nice to meet each other, to make connections, and good luck for the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you.